Let me just start by saying, before I even get into what's coming through, the energy that showed up the moment I started pulling for this reading stopped me in my tracks. Like, I had to just sit with it for a second. Because what I'm feeling here isn't just a regular connection. What I'm picking up on is something that was written long before either of you were even aware of each other. And I think somewhere deep inside of you, you already know that. You've felt it. Maybe you couldn't explain it, maybe you tried to logic your way out of it, but there's been this quiet, persistent knowing sitting in your chest that this person, or this incoming energy, is not ordinary. So if you're watching this right now, I need you to understand that you were guided here. This message is specifically for you, and what's about to come through is going to hit somewhere very real. Okay. So the very first thing I'm picking up on is that there is a significant age gap involved here. And I want to address this right away because the energy around it is so strong. The universe is basically shouting that this gap, whether it's a few years or more than a decade, is not the obstacle that the outside world is making it out to be. I'm feeling a lot of outside noise around this situation. People have opinions. There are people in your circle, maybe family, maybe friends, maybe just society in general, who have made you feel like this pairing doesn't make sense. Like it's wrong somehow. Like you should question it. And what I'm being shown is that those voices are going to get quieter and quieter as this connection deepens, because the universe doesn't make mistakes when it pairs two souls together. This was intentional. The age difference is not a flaw in the design. It is part of the design. Now let me go deeper into who this person is, because there's a lot coming through about their energy. This is someone who carries a very different frequency than most people you've encountered. There's a gravity to them. A groundedness. When they walk into a room, something shifts, not because they're loud or performing, but because their presence is just undeniable. They've lived something. They carry stories in their eyes that most people will never even begin to understand. And what's so interesting is that even with all of that depth, all of that experience, you are the person who makes them feel something they haven't felt in a very long time. Maybe ever. I'm getting this sense that you cracked something open in them that they had very carefully locked away. They didn't plan for you. They didn't see you coming. And now they're standing in the middle of feelings they don't quite know what to do with, and it's both terrifying and the most alive they've felt in years. And here's what I want you to hear, because this part is important, they are not running from it. Even if on the surface it looks like they're slow walking this, even if there's some distance or some hesitation, they are not running. What I'm picking up on is that they are being incredibly careful with you. They've made mistakes before. They've rushed before. They've said too much too soon before, or maybe they gave their heart to someone who didn't honor it, and they carry that. So the pacing right now, the carefulness, that's not disconnection. That is respect. They are treating this like something precious because to them, it is. Now I want to talk about you for a moment, because the energy around you in this reading is stunning. There is something about who you are that is genuinely rare, and I don't mean that in a flattering you kind of way, I mean the energy is literally showing me that the people who come into close proximity with you walk away changed. You leave an imprint. Whether you say a lot or a little, whether you're dressed up or casual, whether you're in your best moment or your most broken one, something about your essence lingers. People think about you after conversations. They replay what you said. They find themselves comparing others to you. And this person, the one this reading is about, they are absolutely no exception to that. I'm also feeling that you carry something very old in your soul. Like there's a wisdom in you that doesn't quite match your years in this lifetime. Some of you watching this came into this life already knowing things that other people spend decades trying to learn. And the person connected to this reading feels that when they're with you. It's one of the things that draws them in so deeply, because they've spent time around people who felt surface level, who felt temporary, and then there's you, and you feel like home. You feel like something they've been searching for without knowing what they were searching for. Okay, something else is coming through, and I want to be really specific about this because the feeling is very strong. There is a version of this connection that is about to level up. Like something has been simmering, building, and the heat is about to be turned all the way up. For some of you, this might be a conversation that's coming, a very real, very vulnerable, very honest conversation where things that have been left unsaid are finally said out loud. I'm feeling like one or both of you has been holding back. Not because you don't feel it, but because saying it out loud makes it real, and real things can get complicated. But the energy here is saying the time for holding back is ending. What's coming is not something either of you will be able to keep quiet much longer. And I need you to know, whatever your fear is around this, the fear of judgment, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear that it's too complicated, the fear that you're too different, the fear that people won't accept it, I'm being shown that on the other side of that fear is something so extraordinary that you will look back and be grateful you didn't let the fear win. The universe doesn't pair people across years and across all that distance and all those differences just for it to fall apart. There's a reason this found you. There's a reason you found each other. Now I want to go into the spiritual layer here because there is so much coming through on this level, and I feel like it would be doing you a disservice to skip over it. The connection between you two has a spiritual signature to it that is genuinely unlike anything ordinary. I'm feeling like in other lifetimes, you two have known each other. There's a recognition energy here that goes beyond this life. You've loved before. You've chosen each other before. And something in the cellular memory of both of you knows that. That's why it's so intense. That's why even when you're apart you feel them. That's why when you're together time moves differently. That's why you feel simultaneously like you just met someone brand new and like you've known them your whole life. Because in the truest sense, you have. I'm also picking up on a very powerful protective energy around both of you. Like there are forces, call them whatever resonates with you, spirit, ancestors, angels, the universe itself, that have been conspiring to make sure this connection happens. Things that could have gotten in the way didn't. Timing that could have been off somehow aligned. Situations that could have kept you apart somehow brought you closer. That's not coincidence. That's orchestration. You are both being held in something much larger than either of you can fully see from where you're standing right now. Something else I want to address is the idea that others might be questioning this. Because I keep feeling this outside judgment energy, and I think for some of you it's not just a stranger's opinion, it might be someone close to you, someone whose approval matters to you, and their hesitation about this connection is causing you real pain. What I want to say to you is this, and I want you to really receive this: the people who are meant to be in your life will eventually understand. And the ones who don't? What they see when they look at this connection is their own limitation. They are seeing something they can't explain through the lens of what they know, and what they know is ordinary love. What you have is not ordinary love. So of course it doesn't fit inside ordinary understanding. Let me also speak to the emotional dynamic between you two right now, because something is sitting in between you that needs to be acknowledged. There's a push and pull here that can feel maddening at times. Moments of intense closeness followed by moments of quiet, and in those quiet moments your mind can start to spiral. Did I say too much? Did I misread this? Is this real? And what I want you to know is that the quiet is not the answer to any of those fears. The quiet is both of you catching your breath after the intensity of what this feels like. When two souls recognize each other this deeply, the feeling can be almost overwhelming. Sometimes the pullback isn't rejection, it's regulation. It's two people figuring out how to be in the presence of something this profound without getting swept entirely off their feet. Now I want to give you something to hold on to going forward, because the energy here is shifting into what's coming, and it's beautiful. What I'm seeing is a deepening. A choosing. At some point, and I feel like this is closer than you think, there is a moment of clarity that comes for both of you at the same time. Like the fog lifts and you both just see it. You see each other. Fully. Without all the noise and the doubt and the what-ifs. And in that moment, the age, the opinions, the complications, none of it will matter the way it seemed to before. What will matter is the feeling. What will matter is the truth of what this is. I'm also seeing that this connection is going to expand your life in ways you haven't imagined yet. Not just emotionally, not just spiritually, but in a very real, tangible sense. Your world gets bigger because of this person. Your understanding of yourself gets deeper. Things you thought you wanted before are going to be replaced by desires that are so much more aligned with who you actually are at your core. This is one of those connections that becomes part of the origin story of your truest self. And for those of you who are worried about timing, who feel like the clock is working against you, or that too much time has passed, or that you should be further along than you are, the energy here is very clearly saying that divine timing is real and it is working in your favor. What feels like a delay is actually a preparation. Both of you are being refined for each other. Things are being arranged behind the scenes that you cannot see yet. Trust the timing, even when it doesn't make sense. Especially when it doesn't make sense. I want to say one more thing before I close this out, because it came through very strongly at the very end and I feel like it's the message someone really needs to hear today. You have spent time wondering if you are too much. Too intense. Too deep. Too complicated. You have shrunk yourself in other situations, in other relationships, in other rooms, because you were made to feel like who you really are was somehow inconvenient or overwhelming. And what this connection is here to show you is that you were never too much. You were just in the wrong rooms. This person, this soul that the universe has aligned you with, they are not intimidated by your depth. They are drawn to it. They are not put off by your intensity. They're finally alive because of it. You don't have to make yourself smaller here. You don't have to edit yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. You just get to be exactly who you are, and for the first time in a long time, that is more than enough. It is everything. This connection is real. It is significant. It is bigger than age, bigger than opinion, bigger than anything the outside world is trying to put on it. The universe paired you two for a reason, and that reason is still unfolding. Trust it. Stay open. And know that what is meant for you is already on its way. I hope this reading found exactly who needed it today. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.